Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Playing against 24, and we're starting out against this team. Now, I want to ask you guys, what do you think the best and worst thing that happened over the last decade? For me, I would say social media for sure. I don't know about you guys. Um, let's see, what do we have here? Arco. Yeah, so I'm trying to charge up Ojima, and then I'll get Arco to fire so I can give them the, mana down. But anyway, getting back to our topic, worst thing. Um, yeah, I'm talking about social media for sure. See, the thing about social media, it's good and bad. And let me talk to you about the good things first. First thing, it made communication so much easy. I remember back in the, I was born in the late 80s, so um, I kind of got an idea what happened in the 70s and 60s, because my parents used to tell me that, when they went abroad and they tried communicating with their family, the only way to do that was to send out letter. So they didn't even have any social media or uh, phones or anything like that. So communication was very valuable when you got a letter and you send it back. But now, not only you can talk to people, you can also FaceTime them and talk to them in real time. Somehow, even with that, like it doesn't feel as real as meeting people in real life. But that's how I communicate with my family, at least for the last decade at least. Um, so that was a really good thing that came out of social media. I think that's the best thing that came out of it, to be honest. The other thing is, and this was more notable to me over the last, 5 to 6 years. You used to rely on news from news channels and whatnot, and I was naive as a young guy. I'm still young, by the way. Anyway, as a younger guy, I thought the only reliable source of news is the media, and I think all of us know by now that most, if not all, public media are a bunch of lies. Like they tell one truth and two lies, and they're all controlled by either the government or some political party. Especially in the U.S., where you have the biggest two parties. Some news are biased towards one, and some news are biased towards the other. So you hear one news um, where it's talked about by one news to the other. I'm not going to mention any specific, media outlets, but you know what I mean. The same news is reported differently based on the party affected, and it just made people lose so much faith in these media outlets, um, and it made it just not credible. So you see a lot of independent journalists and whatnot in Twitter and whatnot. Even that is subjective to some biases and whatnot, but it still is a good way to look at the news. And for me, I mean, the most I can use in terms of information, there's so much information from my field, and I can access it, and it's pretty much summarized. So anywhere I can just access quick information that helps me out in my field. So I benefit a lot, and I still benefit from it because I subscribe to a lot of the people that talk about research and whatnot in my field. So that was a pretty good advantage. And the other thing is it brought a voice to those marginalized people, or the people who are they don't have a voice, the minorities and whatnot, and the people who you thought something of, and then you find out that what you heard about them is not true, because you were brainwashed by media to think that they're a certain way. But when you actually interacted with that part of the world, it showed you a different side of those people. That you find out that these are people. Obviously, for me, before I actually explored the world and lived different places and interacted with different people, I did have these prejudgment sets. But as I grew older and kind of interacted with people, I just changed my mind about a lot of things. Like, people are people everywhere. You have the good and bad, and you just have to take it. So, that's one of the big things. So, to me, these are the pros. Now, coming into the cons, um, there's a lot of cons, and there are really bad cons. But the first one is definitely privacy. So, especially in the last, I would say, maybe not decade, but the last 5 to 6 years, there's just no privacy at all. Let alone, I'm not talking even about the, scandals about politicians and celebrities, because, we had tabloids and whatnot, and channels like TMZ and whatnot. We had all of that. But I'm talking about regular people. Like, you do everything now, or anything, you can end up on social media. You see different trends from, you know, um, you know, uh, I don't want to, I don't want to get my video flagged, but let's say one trend that happened over the last year or two is the gym one, where girls are videoing guys creeping out to them. And a lot of these are just not just guys walking by. They're not even doing anything. And they label them as creeps. Like, these things can have a big effect because it can cancel people. And we've seen people get canceled over social media stuff, whether deservingly or not. It's still, there are people that got canceled from either saying stuff, or their videos got taken out of context, or it just was videoed as at a specific moment, so you can't see the whole video. So it just became destructive in that aspect, and people are way more careful now, and they're less interactive with other people for that reason. Second con, I would say, is I talked about independent journalists and whatnot giving information, but there's so much misinformation coming out because you got people doing their own work. They don't have any evidence. They just spread misinformation. There's a lot of it out there. So it just it's it becomes a big problem because information is just spread so fast now, and it takes only one video to be viral, and a lot of people will spread it without any fact check, without anything. And I know in Twitter they have, or X, or whatever, they have this fact checks and whatnot, but still, there's a lot of misinformation that gets tossed around. So you just have to be careful, and you have to do your due diligence when you hear some news and whatnot. Like, it's not, you don't rely on one source to, get your knowledge. So you have to always fact check whatever you do. The other thing, and that's a big thing, is mental illness. So, yeah, when Instagram and the big social media, especially Instagram, it came out, it just created the false sense of reality for people, because you see all these people posting, especially guys and girls posting unrealistic images, and you think that that's the norm because that's what you see. So you see, like, all these, and even those people who are posting these photos, they're not real themselves. Like, airbrush, Photoshop, and do all kind of things. When you see them in real life, they don't even look close to their photos. Created this false sense of reality of how an image should be. And you see a lot of them and you think that's the norm, but they're really the minority. The other thing is they give this false sense of reality for a lifestyle. So they they go and travel outside, and you see them in all these different destinations, or you see private jets and whatnot, which later on has been exposed by people that it's just people are renting, not even renting the private jet, renting a space to look like a private jet, but they don't even look like private jets. I mean, there was this person that was posting all about this lifestyle and luxury and first class and private jets and whatnot. And then they caught this person flying in economy. So it just tells you that a lot of people just, do this fake it until you make it kind of thing. And it's hurtful for people. And it hurts both men and women. I think, especially with those model photos and whatnot, I think it hurts both men and women, but I think it hurts women more because it just creates this sense of, I don't know. I mean, it creates a low self-esteem and low self-image because, they can't measure up to these fake photos. And obviously for guys, I mean, it definitely, I don't know. I mean, it creates this, I don't know. I mean, guys just became more and more, they just follow these, models and whatnot, and they don't even talk to people in real life. And they created this image that this is what a girl should be, and they just don't get attracted to normal girls. And I'm not saying all of them are like that. I think most of them are, normal people, and they just want to live a normal life, which is a good thing. But with all of this and all the accessibility, porn addiction has become rampant among guys, and I've seen some serious stuff about how social media, especially in that regard, has affected both men and women, because you see now that overall, over the history of, the last 100 years or so, you see now more single guys that ever been before. I think there was like a survey that was done over the last year or so, showed like 60% of guys are single, and that's a high number. And I'm talking about 18 to I think 18 to 40 or 18 to 35 or something like that. And that's a scary statistics, because that goes along with the birth rate as well, because that's going down too. That's not good. And we just became so glued to our screens to watch these different distraction to life. And I don't know. I mean, it's not good. It's not good when you spend all your time like glued to your screen and just watch these, videos and media and whatnot. Because if you notice something, if you're on social media, and as a human being, we tend to focus on the negatives, not the positives. And I think most of the content out there is negative. It's not positive, which is not good for your mental health and your overall health. So that's one big thing about social media. I mean, it just created this divide as well between politics, genders, races. Just created this big divide. You see these nasty videos about promoting like gender hate or racial hate and whatnot, and it's just disgusting. I don't know about you guys, but I've been seeing more and more of this, especially in the last couple of years or 3 years. It's just it was just a disgusting trend of hating um, towards genders and races, and uh, it got I got to a point where I just took off all this. I just deleted all my social media and just detox from them, and it really felt good. But I got back to them again because I don't know. I mean, you need a little bit of social media. People say you don't need it at all. I mean, maybe for some people, I do need it sometimes, but I keep falling into this trap of getting back into it, and then the feed suggests you all kind of nasty stuff, just because it goes viral and whatnot. But I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, um, how do you get rid of this? How do you use social media? Do you think it's an overall good or overall bad? I mean, for me, I think it just depends on how you use it. And what I'm gonna say is a little bit controversial, but I think social media should be limited to people who are adults. I mean, even adults are, a lot of them are stupid, but I don't think it should be. I don't think young kids or even non-adults should be accessing social media. I really don't. Like, it just has such a destructive effect for people, especially young people. They're very impressionable, and they get affected by all this crap that's out there. So you just have to be careful. You really have to be careful, because I've seen it firsthand with kids getting suicidal and whatnot, and they just withdraw from society, and they give up on trying, and they live just because they had these perceptions that they saw on social media, which a lot of it is just not true. you know so just be careful about how you use it. And I don't know, I mean, you're free to do whatever you want with your children and whatnot, but I mean, if I were to have children, it's easy for me to say. I know it's a bit difficult to control your children, especially in this day and age, but I would definitely limit their usage of social media. I don't know about you guys. Do you do that or not? But I see this with some of my brothers and their kids and whatnot too. So it's always a good thing. I mean, especially for kids, they don't need social media. They really don't. I mean, I know some, schools now require you to do like online chores, online homework and whatnot, but you don't. You just have to limit your social media intake. Even you as an adult, like, you have to limit how much social media you take, because it rots your brain. You have to do it, and you have to kind of curate it so that you take what you want from it. That's all I had to say about social media. I mean, you can see I got my ass kicked here in war. It's because, I can't keep up with the new heroes. And, I did my best here, but my best wasn't enough. I don't know if we're going to win this, to be honest, but we shall see. I mean, I'll see what my teammates do. But you can see here, I didn't do the best here. I lost this. Anyway, let's see, how many flags do they have? Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.